Hi, I want to talk to you about how to be a paper hoarder. So this is just going to go through some tips on collecting fun items for your students to use in their art journals. All right, here are a list of fun things to save for your art journals. I always tell my students at the beginning of the year, save your movie tickets, your concert tickets, any kind of raffle tickets, video game tickets. Really fun things to use in your art journal as well. Any sort of cards from board games or like playing cards or Uno, puzzle pieces. I always save all of the tags and the wrapping from anything that I buy. They have really fun envelopes, instruction papers, any sort of ribbons, really fun wrapping papers that you love. I also like going to Lowe's and Home Depot, grabbing a couple of those paint swatch cards that I could use in my art journal. Students love collecting those as well. They grab their favorite colors, they keep them in an envelope. Candy wrappers, so much fun. Candy wrappers are so colorful. Think about a Skittles bag, Starburst, any sort of candy bars. Those are all really fun things to rip up and use in your art journal. They're also telling stories about you, things that you like to do, things that you like to eat. I like to save stamps off of envelopes, different stickers, dried out tea bags, the little envelope that the tea bags come in. I also have a collection of dried out leaves, flowers, petals, different ferns and things that I find outside. So these are things that I talk with my students at the beginning of the year and I say, okay, we're going to start making our art journals. We're going to get ready to art journal. Start saving some fun things to use in your journals. Another thing as a teacher, I seek donations. I have a lot of people reach out to me in the community and say, hey, I've got all of these art books. I'm not using them anymore. Could you use them in your classroom? Absolutely. Yes, I can use them in my classroom. Now, we don't use them as traditional books, but we do cut out of them. I have a whole bookshelf of old like art history books or books about painting and printmaking that students just cut the images out and use in their art journals. It's really cool. So yes, I always say yes to donations of books. Magazines are another really good donation because you could always use more magazines. They get used up, you got to throw them out. There's nothing left in them. So always take magazines. Old books and novels. Sometimes our library is getting rid of a whole bunch of books. We take those so we can use the book pages as collage for the back or for the backgrounds in our art journals. Cookbooks are fun, photos. A lot of people are getting rid of like ton of scrapbooking stuff. I always take stamps and different papers and stickers and different art supplies from people as well. And I reach out at school. I reach out to our music department and I say, hey, do you have any sheet music? They are always getting rid of sheet music. They are beautiful backgrounds. So reach out to your music department. Reach out to your photo teachers at school. They always have contact sheets and negatives and prints that weren't perfect. Those are great for using in your art journals. I also love to get, if you can get your hands on a dictionary or braille paper. Braille paper is beautiful. Another really cool spot that I hit up for basically everything is I belong to my local Buy Nothing group on Facebook, and I can get really anything there. There's always people looking to give away art supplies because their kids grew up and they're not using it anymore. Stamps, scrapbooking supplies. I have asked for typewriters and gotten typewriters donated for my students to use. So I'll just buy a new ink for them and they're beautiful. The kids love them. So sometimes I'll put a post up there on my Buy Nothing group and I'll say, art teacher in search of typewriter. I've gotten electric typewriters. I've gotten manual typewriters. I collect books from there. I've gotten stickers, miscellaneous papers. And this year, I wanted to do a waffle party with my students at the end of the year, and I actually got people to donate waffle irons. So exciting. So definitely reach out. People are always trying to get rid of things out of their house. And here are a couple different websites in local shops. So there's a website for secondhand art supplies, and that's makeandmendshop.com. I'll put the link in the email. And then secondhand shops. I always go, like, if I need books, I'll just go to Goodwill or Salvation Army or any kind of secondhand shop, and I'll just pick up a book for 99 cents. There's, at least 300 pages in a novel. I live in Northern Virginia, so one of our local shops is called Upcycle in Alexandria. It's so cool. Everybody just drops off their stuff that they don't want from their houses anymore. And I'll go and you can fill up a small bag for $5. Anything you can fit in that bag is $5. Super cheap. Love it. I'm not sure if you have one of those in your area, but do try to find that, because those are such a cheap way to start building your supplies for your students to use. There's also garage sales, estate sales, flea markets. Just tell people you're a teacher. Sometimes they're gonna give you a discount, because people love teachers and they know that they're going to be going to good use, so they're just going to want to donate it to you. Also, don't feel shy about asking your family, your friends, and your neighbors to start saving stuff for you. All right, I want to show you some of the items that I collect for students to use in their art journals. They may not think of this stuff to start off with, but when you have it in your room and they start seeing all of these different items that they can use in their art journals, it clicks. Then they start saving stuff too. So I have an entire wall of donated art books. A lot of people are just going digital and they're getting rid of all of their bookshelves of their house, of their art resource books. I've got art history books. The kids love cutting out of those. Here's just an example. This is a book from our photography teacher. She was done with it, so I held on to it. Some really interesting black and white images to cut out. This is a book, actually, it looks like my dog might have eaten this one a little bit. Just a really old book. I probably cut the cover off of this to use and to make another journal. But the pages are great. They're yellowing in it. It's definitely a vintage book. Here's a really old art history book, black and white. Students can cut out these images and use them. They can collage these into their backgrounds. And what's really nice about these older books, the pages and the paper quality is really nice. This is super smooth paper. Really old notebooks. I always like using lined paper. These are knitting. This is a knitting pattern. Oh, dictionaries. If you can get your hand on some old dictionaries, these are great for collaging in your journal. Hook up with your music teachers at school. They always have old music that they're getting rid of. So I have a ton of sheet music for students to use in their journals, like boxes of it. They were just going to throw it in the garbage. This is too beautiful to throw in the garbage. Here's another book, Formulas for Painters. Probably nothing we would use, but the pages, nothing I would read, I mean. But the pages are really nice. Rip these up for text in your background. Magazines, always have people or parents that are willing to donate magazines. These are great for images. I have a ton of these bird magazines, which are really fun. This is really old, like kindergarten writing, learning how to write paper, but it's yellowing. Oh, if you can get your hands on some Braille paper, this is gorgeous. My husband teaches social studies. In one year, he had a student who was blind, and all of her tests were converted to Braille, and he was going to throw them out at the end of the year. I was like, no, save them for me. The crazy hoarding art teacher. So I've got a lot of this Braille paper, which is super fun. Here's a really old perspective book. This would be great backgrounds. Let me move on to some of the smaller items that I save. I save everything. So these are candy wrappers, really fun foils. My son always picks me up these leaves, so I press them in books, and you can use these in your journals. It's another candy wrapper. Oh, a Starburst package. Candy wrappers are so fun. I have students that save Starburst and Skittles and M&M wrappers and use them. I have an envelope here of old stamps that were donated to us. They're all canceled, but they're beautiful stamps. So I keep a bin of those. You can have some really fun wrapping papers. I love that one. These are just, again, look, some more envelopes. This is an little instruction page. Another candy bar wrapper. Cards from board games. Monopoly, sorry. My students love using those. These are really old, like, slides. These are neat too. I have a package of these. I'm not sure where I got those from. Uno cards. This is from a Pantone book. Tickets, movie stubs. Another card. These little tickets, I like using these as well. Oh, vintage photographs are always fun if you can get your hands on some of these. This was a bag that I bought once. I just liked the way the tag looked. Reese's peanut butter cup wrappers. This is from when you're standing in the deli line at the grocery store. These are old from VHS no, this looks like it's cassette tapes. These are old stickers. Paint swatches, always fun. When you go to Home Depot or Lowe's, grab a couple paint swatches. These are great. You can cut these up. You can do some hole punching in these. Those are awesome for the journal. Feathers are great. I always pick those up when I'm going for walks. This is like a vellum. Came in, I guess, some candy. I guess I really like candy. Here's a prescription paper. I don't even know what this is. Oh, this is a tea bag that I drank the tea, but then I emptied the tea leaves out of, and it's just really beautiful pinkish purple paper that you can then collage into your art journal. So that's really fun. The other thing I love to save, whenever I'm working, I put paper on the table so I'm not getting the table dirty. I don't have to wipe it up. And then I use these papers in my journal. This is a really fun piece. When we do jelly printing, I fill the whole table with butcher paper and just tell students, clear your brayer off on the paper. It makes these really beautiful, beautiful papers that they can use in their journal. So it's protecting the table. We don't have to clean. And then bonus, we're getting these awesome papers that we can use in our journals. Here's another one that I have that I saved that covered my desk when I was working on some paintings. I have a hard time throwing these out, but these can all be ripped up and used in your art journal. So start saving everything. Everything. I'm going to show you some other places that you can keep your eye open and look out in different ways that you can get your hands on some old stuff or some books for your classroom.